All right, so the naive way to test this easy button component is to take a look at it and be like, oh, okay, it's actually like remarkably simple. All it does is render this button. And so all we're going to do is render that easy button with some text content. We'll verify the content and be good to go. We need to grab that button. And then here, we'll go ahead and verify that it has the right styles applied, because that's what we care about for this particular component. So if I save that though, I'm going to get this use theme should not be used within a theme provider. I can actually click on that and see that's where the error is getting thrown. And that's because we're trying to say React use context, theme context, but we don't have a default value for our theme context, and it really wouldn't make sense anyway. We need to render within this theme provider. That's exactly what the error is telling us. So how do we render within the theme provider? Well, it's actually pretty simple. We render it within the theme provider. Da-na-na-na. So here we'll just grab theme provider right there. And let's stick that easy button inside of that theme provider. And there we go. We've solved the problem. But we're going to take things a little step further, because rendering the theme provider like this means that if we wanted to re-render and provide different props or something, we'd have to provide that theme provider again. So I'd rather put that theme provider in a wrapper option. So that's what I'm going to do right here. So I'm going to make a wrapper component that's going to take children, and then it will return the theme provider wrapped around those children. And in this case, I can even provide an initial theme with light as my initial theme, because that's the API for my theme provider right here, is it takes an initial theme. So I can provide a specific initial theme that I want for my particular test. And then I can take this wrapper and provide it as an option. My wrapper is this wrapper component, and I no longer need to wrap it in the theme provider. It can just be wrapped in the theme provider for me by React Testing Library. And I don't have to think about wrapping my UI in that wrapper. It'll just happen automatically for me. And the cool thing about the wrapper is if I have other providers that I need to provide context values for this component that I'm testing, then I can just wrap those forever and have as many providers in here as I want. And my render for the UI that I create doesn't have to get any more complicated than that. So in review, all that we did here was we rendered the component we wanted. We noticed that it wasn't getting all of the context values that it needed. So we used the wrapper option and created a wrapper component that wrapped our children in our context providers. And that ensured that our consumer of that context had access to the context value provided to us from the context provider.